Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guradmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadguru Pranatosmyaham Om Shri Krishna Govinda Narayana. Okay. What do the gunas do? They control the changes in your primary instrument. This is the most important part. The primary instrument is what? Your subtle body. Your subtle body is what? Your mind. Subtle body has three parts. It's your subtle body. The jiva. Jiva is consciousness, reflected awareness, plus the intellect, a mind, and an ego. That's your subtle body. It's really important now. That's the person that you think you are. That's you, the reflected consciousness, the person, plus your thoughts and your feelings and your actions. Okay? It's called the subtle body. It's a technical term. It's called Sukshma Sharira. Physical body is called the Karana Sharira. The Stula Sharira. The causal body is called the Karana Sharira. And the subtle body is called the Sukshma Sharira. It's a subtle body. The subtle body pervades the physical body. If I cut my finger here, it hurts. If I cut my fingernail, it doesn't hurt. Why? There's no subtle body here. The subtle body ends here. Physical body begins here. This is both physical body, but the subtle body doesn't pervade the hair and the nails. Isn't that funny? I mean, you don't think about it, do you? You don't think. But your consciousness plus a subtle body plus physical body. That's all you are. That's what a jiva is. The physical body belongs to Ishvara, belongs to the field. So does the subtle body. But what? I own the subtle body. I say, if you say, did you ever say, I think? Yeah, of course you did. Or, I'm angry. Or, I went to the store. I went to the supermarket. You all said that word. You all said those three statements. Many, many times throughout your life. None of those statements are true. Why? Can the I, this is the I. Well, the reason you're saying it is because you think this is the I. But the I, what? Is non-dual, ever-present, unborn, actionless, ordinary existence awareness. So, it's not thinking, is it? Is yourself thinking? Does the I think? You say I think, but there's no mind here. Yourself is free of all thoughts. It's called nirvikalpa. There's no vikalpas, no thoughts here So there's no way the I can do any thinking. And there's no feelings here, because the self doesn't have emotions. You say, I feel, then what's happened? The I, the self, has jumped over and joined your feelings, your emotional center, your subtle body, or I think, it's jumped over the line and identified here with what? With the thought body, with your intellect. Or if you say, I went to the supermarket, it's jumped over and joined up with your ego, your doer. Remember, there's no connection between these two. Now, I can't jump over here, and this can't jump up there. So to say, I think, or I feel, or I act, is what? A statement of ignorance. It means what? I've confused myself with my feelings, emotions, and thoughts and actions. Now this, why? Because this subtle body, come on in, Molly. This subtle body, it says here, is what? The changes in it are controlled by the gunas. You see here? Huh? We have what? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas affecting your thoughts. We have Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas affecting your emotions. And we have Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas affecting your actions. As above, so below. This is Ishvara, and this is Jiva. As these gunas change, these gunas change. The gunas what? Control the changes in your primary instrument. We're getting into some kind of interesting questions here, aren't we? Because you think what? You think you're thinking, don't you? Huh? And you believe what you think, don't you? Huh? That's kind of a big mistake here. And you feel, and you think you're feeling things, don't you? Do you think you're feeling things? You're not feeling anything. You can't feel. You're free. You're like space. The self is like space. Is the space affected by what I do in the space? No. I'm doing it. I am space, and I'm doing things in space, but the space is totally unaffected by what I'm doing, isn't it? So when you say I think, or I feel, or I do, that's not correct. The what? The gunas are creating the thoughts and the feelings and the actions. But you're owning them. Ishvara is creating them, but you're saying they're mine. You're what? You're usurping Ishvara's power. Ishvara's authorship and ownership. You're saying they're mine, and I'm doing it. Not good, huh? Yes.
I'm having trouble then figuring out how you said earlier you have free will.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the big issue that comes up. I just had that discussion. Well, maybe we should have that discussion now and get rid of this question. Because everybody's got this question, don't they? Am I doing it, or is Ishvara doing it? Do I have free will, or is Ishvara doing it all? What's the answer?
Ishwar is doing it all, you just think you are.
Ishwar is doing it all you think you are.
You just think we're nuts.
But what? If I think I'm a jiva, I think I'm doing it all, don't I?
That's a thought.
It's only a thought.
That's as good as real if you think it.
It's as good as real. That's a good way to put it. It's not real, but it's as good as real because you believe you're the subtle body. When you identify with the subtle body, you say, I'm doing, I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm so forth and so on. When you know who you are, you may say, I'm thinking and feeling and doing, but you'll know very well that Ishwar is thinking and feeling and doing, and that you don't do anything. You what? You bless your knowledge, your actions and your feelings and your emotions with your presence. In my presence, thoughts happen, feelings happen, and what? And actions take place. But I am totally unaffected by those. If I'm affected by them, I'm not going to be free, am I? We pointed out earlier today that what? Limitless or freedom means what? The definition is doesn't modify to experience. As the gunas change, as the changes take place in my primary instrument, I stay the same. If I change every time a guna changes, if I change every time a feeling changes or a thought changes or something, then who am I? Am I real? Because how would I know which one you were? When you're tamasic, huh? You say today you say, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm really tamasic. I'm so tamasic. And then I see you in the morning after your cup of coffee. How are you today? Oh, I'm really rajasic. And then later on, see you in the afternoon and you're out in the garden meditating. How are you today? Oh, I'm sattvic. Well, okay, which one are you? I'd like to know which one you are, because you just told me you have three different things here, and I don't see three different things here. I don't see three eyes. Do you see three eyes? I don't see three. You say there's three eyes. You say, I think, I'm rajasic, tamasic, or sattvic, but hey, I don't see that. I just see one awareness, one eye shining. Huh? And so your statement doesn't hold up. The gunas do not, have any impact on you. The gunas impact the subtle body, not you. Okay? That's good. You don't understand this clearly. The only way you're going to get out from under this is to understand who you are. That's what we said. Because you're not in control of the gunas. Yes, ma'am? Did you? Oh, yeah.
James, I can't help but think, and I think you're probably going to get to this, but isn't this teaching a way to lead us right into karma yoga?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We're gonna. This gentleman here, he's thinking ahead. You're all thinking ahead, actually. Where do we got? What's the next? I think karma yoga coming right up here on the. Yeah, that's we're coming up.
It seems like it's a way to actually make karma yoga more possible.
Well, yeah, karma yoga works when you understand this teaching. Absolutely. Huh? See, because our problem is just we can kind of get off topic. It's not at all. Now you guys are all tuned into. We're all in the same ballpark now, so we can actually have a few questions. You know what questions are relevant. Because I really don't want to hear about your tragedies, okay, and your joys and sorrows. Thank you very much. But now we can talk about. Now, karma yoga is just acknowledging that what? actions are not being done by me, that the results of actions are not being done by me, and what? Now, in Karma Yoga, it's not completely guna-oriented. Why? Because there's several level stages. There's 2 stages of Karma Yoga. In the first stage of Karma Yoga, I'm allowed to have my desires and try to get things. But in that stage, I understand that what? The results of my actions are not up to me. This is the Ishwara. You can see this from the Guna now, huh, can't you? This is what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, and now you're saying that even the actions aren't up to you.
Yeah. And then now on this thing, we're saying even the actions are not up to you. But at the beginning, I don't want to accept that, right? Why? Because I think I'm a doer. Huh? You've all along, whenever anybody asks what you're doing, you say, I'm doing this and that. What does that prove? That proves that you think you're a doer. So, I can't tell you that you're limitless, non-dual, actionless, ordinary, unconcerned, ever-present, unborn awareness, and get you, the doer, to accept that, can I? You'll just go, what have you been smoking? Huh? Won't you? Yeah. You'll think there's something wrong with me. You're not. So we provisionally accept your identity as a doer. Because you think you're a doer. We know you're not a doer. We know you're the self. But it doesn't do us any good to tell you that. It doesn't do you any good for me to tell you that you're the self, if you think you're the doer. And if you're the doer, what is your big concern? What's your big concern when you're a doer? Getting results. The doer, this doer entity called aham karta, this karta has another mode. That other mode is called a bhokta. Aham karta, aham bhokta. This is called your ahankara, or your doer. Right? This karta, this doer, wants to become a bhokta. What's a bhokta? Enjoyer. Bhokta. Bhokta means to eat, to enjoy, to consume. It's a symbol. So I do what? To consume, to enjoy. What do I want to consume? What food do I want? These symbols. What food do I want? I want to eat the results of my actions. I want to get what I want and avoid what I don't want, because that's my food. That's what satisfies me. That's what fills me up, getting what I want and avoiding what I don't want. So the doer is a karta and a bhokta. And you're doing for the results. But what's the sad story here? What's the real sad story? Let's get out of them hankies now and all have a big, The results of the action are up to who? Ishvara. I can do the action, but hey, as soon as I do the action, what happens to the result? The result is in the Dharma field, and who's the Dharma Raja, the king of the Dharma? Ishvara! So when I hand over an action to Ishvara, Ishvara is in charge now. It's out of my hands. All your worry about what's going to happen, praying, oh my God, everybody get well. Bullshit. You're just wasting your time. You're totally wasting your time because it's completely out of your hand. You've surrendered it to Ishvara, whether you like it or not. And Ishvara is going to produce the result according to what? What is the principle that Ishvara uses to apportion results to individuals?
Good.
The needs of the total. Because Ishvara is the one that looks after the total. You're just looking after your own little petty self. Right? You're only interested in you. You don't give a damn about the total. Look at Donald Trump. America first! Well, it just so happens that America's really not that big a deal. There's a big world that's much bigger than America, and and being first, maybe he wants to be first, but we're not first, we're not last. We're just one factor in a huge machine. And who it is that's making things happen? Ishvara. According to the actions of the total. So if you have billions of individuals making billions of actions, then Ishvara has to facilitate all of those actions to produce the results. And the results are going to be according to your guna, according to your karma. Now, as long as you think you're a jiva, then what? Then you have freedom to act. As long as you think you're a jiva. When you understand Ishvara, you immediately cede that freedom to act to Ishvara. So Ishvara is the doer. Then what happens? Then what? My life takes off. And Karma Yoga is what? I appreciate everything that Ishvara hands me. Why? Because I love Ishvara. Because Ishvara is looking out after me, right? Ishvara is delivering the results of my action. Ishvara is my big mom pop in the sky. Yeah? And I'm turning over my actions to Ishvara. I'm worshipping Ishvara. I love Ishvara, so I worship Ishvara with my actions, and I take whatever Ishvara gives back as a prasad, as a gift from God. Thank you, Ishvara. When Ishvara whacks me upside the head, I say, oh, that's good. Thank you. Lord, I needed that. But if you're not doing karma yoga, whining and complaining, right? Because you're not getting what you want. But a karma yogi is a person that what? Doesn't care. What do they want? We want something. That's karma yogis. We want something. What do we want? Shanti. We want sattva guna. Why do we want sattva guna? Because we can't get knowledge without sattva guna. If you have too much rajas or too much tamas, you can't get knowledge. You won't get the knowledge, and you won't get what, and therefore you won't understand the teaching, and therefore you won't get free, will you? So by turning over the results to Ishvara, our mind becomes sattvic. Because all of our actions are what? Based upon rajas and tamas, our fears and our desires. As we act on the basis of our fears and desires, we're going to get what? Negative and positive results according to our fears and desires. If tamoguna is controlling our subtle body, then what? We're going to make tamasic actions, and what result are we going to get? A tamasic mind. If your mind is dull and sleepy, and you have a hard time paying attention to people or functioning in the world and so forth and so on, all it means is you have a predominance of tamoguna. And that your habits, your actions are what? Reinforcing that guna. That's all. Ishvara is not going to, if you do tamasic actions, you're not going to get sattvic results. That's not how the law, according to your karmas, Ishvara blesses you. According to your action, Ishvara blesses you. If you do a whole bunch of rajasic things, what are you going to get? You're going to get a disturbed mind. That's all. If your mind is like hopping and dancing all the time, and you're always worried, and you're always busy, and you can't sit still, it means what? Raja guna is dominating your subtle body. That's not, neither one of those gunas are that much fun. Now, that doesn't mean, okay, James, then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get rid of all my rajas and all my tamas, and I'm gonna be totally sattvic like a saint, and then you can teach me, and I will get moksha right away. Doesn't work like that. You need rajas. Why? What do you need rajas for? Motivation, action. You've got to do something. If you don't do, oh no, I'm not a doer. This is the big one they got in the spiritual world now. You're not a doer. I was in India, I used to meet these people. Ramesh Balsakardi, have you ever heard of him? Yeah. I was there when he was alive, and all the people it was part of the sort of obligatory trip to India. You went up, saw the big Dalai Lama, and you watched the Kala Chakra, and then you went down to Ganesh, down to Bombay, and you sat with Ramesh, and then you came to Arunachala, and you hung out with Ramana and walked around the hill. Then you went down to Kerala and had a hug from Mamaji. And so I was just sitting there at Tiruvannamalai in this restaurant. I was with my friends and just enjoying myself. And I meet dozens of people coming from Ramesh. And I'm curious about people. I'd like to know. I say, well, what's your sadhana? They'd say, well, I say, where have you been? What are you doing? Oh, I just been to Ramesh. Oh, yeah, cool, very cool. I'm acting like I was an idiot. And I am, but I'm not as much an idiot as I look. I'd say, well, tell me about it. What teaching? What's your sadhana? I'd ask. I knew the answer. He says, I'm not doing sadhana. I'm not doing any sadhana. Oh, why not? Because I'm not a doer. That teaching is not. That teaching doesn't mean the ego is not a doer. That's not what that I am not a doer means. It means I'm the self. And that Ishwar is the doer. And that this guy down here that's not doing anything is definitely doing something. And what is that thing that this non-doer is doing? Nothing. Try to do nothing for like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing nothing. They were all just acting out their stupid vasanas and pretending like they weren't doing anything. But their samskaras, their vasanas, were just manifesting all along, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm not doing it." So the subtle body here is what the gunas here are changing your subtle body. Until what? You exercise your free will to change it. This is why you got some power over Ishwar, because Ishwar and Jiva are in the same what? Both Ishwar and Jiva are in Maya, aren't they? Huh? So they're in the same order of reality. So what Jiva does is going to affect Ishwar, and what Ishwar does is going to affect Jiva. They're chicken and the egg. Now we got to get rid of Ishwara too to get up to here, but you're not going to jump from Jiva over Ishwara. You're going to have to what? Acknowledge Ishwara and get yourself in harmony with Ishwara so that your mind gets sattvicized. Enough to what? Understand who you are. It's Karma Yoga. Anyway, so yeah, well, it's all totally logical. This whole thing is teaching. Okay, now, the gunas create your lifestyle and your personality. Tell me exactly what you did create. Would you like to get out your notebook and write down what you created? If there's one little thing on that sheet, you're wrong. If there's one thing that you think you did, you're wrong. Ishwar is doing it all. Maya is doing it all. You're not the doer. You're what? Your awareness. You know that. You're limitless. But you don't know you're limitless yet. You will discover that as we go. About what? You know you exist and you know you're not. This is why people have no trouble with the idea I'm awareness. This guy said that. And then remember the email? He said, I know I'm awareness. No problem there. So I said, well, why don't you act like it? Because he never took on Ishvara. His Tamaguna, his Rajaguna just kept cranking out all this nonsense. Huh? And there was no actual, what? Connection between the way he lived and who he was. And since Ishwar is in charge of the life, but Ishwar is facilitating Jiva, then Jiva's got some power here. And as long as you think you're a Jiva, then you got to get off your lazy butt, spiritual butt, and get to work. Yes?
Can you explain? I've heard it being said that we are co-creators and that through our thoughts we can create our reality.
Yeah, it's a really bad idea. I mean, it's a true idea, but it's a bad formulation. Okay, that's a good question, though. There are two creations here. Okay, so co-creator, you need to understand that. You know, in the 90s it was, God is my co-pilot. I love that one. Huh? The Jiva is so, oh yeah, yeah, God, yeah, God's my co-pilot. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Ishvara creates everything. All the 5 elements, all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the emotions, all the actions, everything is created by Ishvara. And me, Jiva, is experiencing what? Things. Now, if you say I'm a jerk, and you may say I'm a jerk. That statement's true if I'm a jerk. So that's not a judgment, is it?
Right.
Because I'm a jerk. Right? But if I'm not a jerk and you say I'm a jerk, then what are you doing? You're creating jerkness. In other words, the jerk's in you, baby. Huh? Right? That's Jiva's Srishti. Ishvara Srishti means creation, is everything. And what? Jiva Srishti, Jiva's creation, is what you're adding to what happens. Are you co-creating? Well, yeah, you are, but you're not. You're adding some value, positive or negative, to what happens. Now, everything here is value neutral. That's what samadhi means. Samadhi means the value is equal. Everything here is equal, and everything here is equal. And this and this are both equal. That's what samadhi means. D means buddhi. It's a shortened form, a contracted form of the word buddhi, which means intellect. And sama means equal. So it means equal intellect. Now what does that mean? That means an intellect that values everything equally. That doesn't see one thing as bigger or smaller or more or different or better than anything else. That's what samadhi means. And the example they use in the Yoga Shastra is a yogi in samadhi sees no difference between a lump of gold and the excreta of a crow. So crow shit and gold are the same for a yogi in samadhi. Now, will a yogi in samadhi grab a bunch of crow poop and take it to the bank and to the deposit it? Walks up to the teller, says, "Yes, sir, would you like to make a deposit?" "Oh, yeah." Just plop a big pile of crow shit in there. I said, "What's that? What's that?" "Oh, that's gold." "Sir, it looks like crow shit to me." I said, "It's gold." "Why?" "Because it says in the Holy Scriptures, crow shit and gold are the same. It must be the same." What does that mean? It means that the essence, the substance of everything is what? The same. The crochet is a thought in your mind, the crochet thought, and gold is a gold thought in your mind, and they're actually equal because they're both just made out of you, out of your mind. That's all. And what is your mind? Yourself. So what? It doesn't mean, oh, Ramji, you're in samadhi. Huh? You know, people make a big story about people going into and going out of samadhi and all that sort of thing. Well, not going out, but going into. They never say that anybody went into samadhi, went out of samadhi. What you do. If it's an experience, obviously. No. Samadhi means you see that everything is what? Yourself, consciousness. That's all it is. You're not going to get that by any experience, because what? Experiences are what? Coming and going. So if I see everything, if I didn't see everything as the self prior to this experience, then I'm not going to see everything as the self when that experience goes, am I? So experiential samadhi is not what we're talking about here. Jnanam or moksha is what? The knowledge that everything is what? The same, is one consciousness, is me, but even though everything looks like it's different. Even though everything looks like it's different, I know very well it's the same. Oh no, but see, as long as it looks different, I don't want it to look different. I think it should all just blend into one big ball of consciousness. No. It is consciousness. It doesn't need to merge into some kind of experiential ball of light or consciousness to what? Prove that reality is non-dual. You can't prove that reality is non-dual. It's not possible. You can only understand what it means. That's all. Because you're already the self and reality is already non-dual. There's nothing you can do about it except understand it. And you don't understand it by how, you only understand it by knowledge. Like I gave you this example earlier of the camera. Now, the camera takes a picture, I said, but you don't see the camera in the picture. So how are you going to know there's a camera? You see a picture, and you know there's a camera. Why? Because there's a picture. There can't be a picture without a camera. Well, so I see the camera how? By logic, by inference. I infer the existence of what? Of a camera, because I know that you don't see a picture without a camera, just like you don't see smoke without fire. You know that. Wherever you see smoke, there's fire. So wherever you see a picture, there's got to be a camera. So wherever I have an object, I experience an object, I must be present as what? As the all-seeing eye of awareness, as consciousness. You're not going to see it, you're going to know it. And knowing's as good as seeing. Everybody wants the world to change. They think, oh, enlightenment's going to change the world. Enlightenment doesn't change the world at all, because why? Why doesn't enlightenment change the world? Ishwar's in charge of the world, and Ishwar doesn't know you're enlightened. Why? Why doesn't Ishwar? Because Ishwar sees you as itself, and so there's no separation there. So Ishwar is going to keep making the sun and the moon and the stars go around and make your brain think and your feelings feel, and all this stuff happen, whether you're enlightened or not. So you're getting enlightened is not going to suddenly... I know that the one guy said, oh, I know who I am. And then he calls me up and he says, I'm running out of money. Why isn't Ishwar giving me money? Yeah. And then he calls up a little while later. He says, oh, I'm really lonely. And I thought I'd be getting a girlfriend by now. He thought, because he gets enlightened, the whole world is going to come and kiss his ass. But Ishwar... The fact that you're here is Ishwar's blessing. Ishwar's already kissed your ass. So stop. So give up. Stop expecting anything to be different. You think it's going to be, nothing's going to be different. The only thing that's going to change is the status of the world in your mind. It's going to move from what? Not real to, from unreal to real. You're going to see it's all me. Or from real to unreal. If you thought it was real before, you're going to see that it's unreal. And then what's the next thing you're going to do? You're going to discover that what the snake is actually the rope. Good, huh? So the world's all me. And that's fine. So if you are not separate from me, are we going to have any problems? No. Why? Because I love myself totally. And if you're me, then I love you totally, don't I? I have no choice. If you're somebody else, then what? Then we can have some problems here. Right? But if you're me, am I going to lie to you? Going to cheat you? Going to injure you in some way? No way. You'll only injure another. You will never consciously injure yourself. Because you love yourself totally. Understand? So the utility of this samadhi, if samadhi means what? This knowledge of the myself, that everything's the same, right, is the freedom. And the jiva's creation is what? All of the projections that I put onto the objects. We're getting to this, projection and denial. Those are the two big forces that are operating in the unconscious that are causing problems. We're going to get to that. Okay. Gunas create your lifestyle and your personality. So that's all set up. The kind of person you are is all set up. According to all the actions you've done in the past, you're this particular kind of person. That's why everybody's different. Everybody's the same, but they're all different. Why? Because no two snowflakes are alike. No two people are born at exactly the same time and place in exactly the same the same situation with the same karma. So everybody's unique on that level, even though they're not. And that uniqueness that we have is owing to your gunas. Understand? And your personality. What kind of personality you are? I'm an 8 with a 7 wing and a 6 this. I'm an Aquarius with a Libra rising and a moon in Sagittarius. I don't know what I am. I mean, people are always coming up and telling me, you're this and you're that. And okay, good, thanks, good. It's nice to know. It's not nice to know because it has nothing to do with me at all. I need to put you in a little box, and this is the little box I want to fit you in. And okay, I'll be in your box. Anything to keep you shut up. I don't have to hear about it, Okay, vasanas, gunas, and samskaras. You know what vasanas are?
Is that
Leftover.
Yeah, the leftovers. They're the impressions from your past actions. It's a vasana. So whenever you do an action motivated by ego and desire, okay, whenever a fear or desire is motivating your action, and I want or I don't want, and you do an action, that action produces a fragrance. The word vasana means a fragrance. That's the meaning of vasana. It's a fragrance. And that action smells according to your fear or your desire, and that That action here in the material world, what does it do? It produces another vasana. That's how the vasana becomes a karma, and the karma becomes a vasana. The karma, now if you do karma yoga, what happens? When you do an action, you don't produce a vasana. So you don't what? You don't continue the pressure. In other words, you relieve some of the pressure of your causal body every time you act when you do karma yoga. But when you act as a samsari for the results only, every time you do an action, you increase the pressure on your subtle body because you're reinforcing your existing vasanas. And eventually you become a robot. You know the robots? You do the same stupid thing over and over and over again. And you're so boring and so bored. You are bored and everybody's bored with you because you're just a robot. Look at the movies. The movies show us exactly where we're at as a society. They love zombies and robots. And really armored people who don't think there's Walking Dead. Now you see it everywhere. Why is that? That's a recognition of the fact that what? The vasanas are doing us. The tail is wagging the dog. The dog should be wagging the tail. If karma yoga, the dog is wagging the tail, but in our case, the tail is wagging the dog. And we're being pushed around by our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions and our situation in life. Vasana, kama, subtle body, karma. Add the ego and the desire to the what? In the subtle body, you add that to an action and you get a new vasana. Which means you get a new agitation and a new action, which means round and round and round and round and round you go. It's called samsara chakra. It's called a chakra. It just spins around in a circle, and it's samsara. Samsara means the jaws of the crocodile. Ooh. You got alligators down here, don't you? Is it alligators or crocs?
Alligator.
You got alligators. And that would hurt too. I'm sorry I'm laughing. I'm going to get serious here. The jaws of the croc means what? When you got, it's real hard to get out of, that's what it means. Even if you're like, it's real hard because he's just pushing the pressure, all the things going, he wants to eat you up. Your desires and fears will eat you up. They will consume you and destroy you unless you figure out how to get out. Another meaning of that is whirlpool, samsara. You know when you get in a whirlpool or quicksand, the more you struggle in quicksand, the faster you sink in. These are all symbols of this psychological mechanism that's operating here when you don't know who you are. See, Maya cuts you off from your knowledge of yourself. So you think you're inadequate and incomplete and small and limited and so forth and so on. And then you think, well, if I do this and I get this, then I'll be whole and complete and adequate and okay. Isn't that right? Now, that's what you think, but that doesn't work that way, does it? But that's what I think. If you knew none of this was real, you wouldn't waste your time on it. But you actually think it's real, and you think if you get what you want, you think you're going to be happy. Well, no matter what it is, love or knowledge or money or power or recognition or you name it, whatever it is you're chasing, you think it's going to solve your problem. And you just get more and more, yeah, going round and round and round and round. And you just can't ever be satisfied here. So a state of total dissatisfaction and helplessness. And when you recognize your helplessness, then you're on the way out. But if you just keep denying it and keep trying to make the samsara work for you, all you're going to do is dig yourself in deeper, and every little jaw of the crocodile are going to just slowly, slowly, slowly. And there's always this feeling of impending doom or dread that samsaris have, that something could go wrong. Oh, do you know that one? Oh, something might go wrong. I have a friend like that. He hired me. He just liked me and wanted to make a job for me, because he was real rich, and he liked me, and he knew I was lazy and didn't want to work. So he dreamed up a job for me, which was doing some research, on a business research. And I used to be a businessman. And I said, okay. So I did the research, sort of. And then he came to see me, and he said, well, what's your conclusion? I said, well, I don't think you should do it. He had a project. He had a few £1 million he wanted to invest, and he wanted me to see if he thought it was a good deal. I said, I don't think you should do it. No, I don't know how to go. He said, so I said, I don't think you should do it. He said, well, why not? I said, well, something might go wrong. He said, oh yeah, that's a good reason. And I said to him, I said, well, how about something might go right? He didn't like that at all. He liked something might go wrong. Because that was his nature. He was scared. That's why he hired me in the first place. He was afraid something, he didn't trust himself, and he thought something might go wrong. So what? Something might go right, but something might go wrong. You know that feeling of dread? That always the shoe, when's the shoe going to drop and something bad going to happen? Nothing bad's going to happen. Nothing good's going to happen either. So get off it. Get off your likes and your dislikes. What? Offer your results to Ishvara and take the results as prasad, and what? Reduce the pressure that's coming from your from your vasanas, from your causal body, your guna pressure. Get it down. And what's going to happen then? Your mind, which is all like outside, extroverted. Oh, look, every minute you're checking your... I'm as bad as you guys. Oh, yeah, I wonder what's going on here? I wonder what I said. Wondering, huh? Right? Well, why do you look at that all the time? You want to know what's happening. Exactly, why do you care? The same thing is going to happen tomorrow, it's happened today, it's happened today. Nothing ever changes. It's always the same old stuff every day. Because you're worried. You think that what happens is going to what? Change you. And we're saying it can't change you. You just got the wrong you. Right? So now, when this pressure goes off, what happens? The mind is that part of yourself that what? Is always looking for the bliss. The doer enjoyer is always looking for the pleasure. If it can't find pleasure in the objects, where is it going to find the pleasure? It's going to turn inward. It's going to find the pleasure within. You're forcing it to go inward. Karma Yoga is forcing your mind to look to the self, look to the source, not to the objects. If the mind is extrovert, it's just looking to the world for its satisfaction. And that's going to be what? Up and down based upon what? The nature of the field in which you're playing. But if you deny your mind, you deny that your mind that opportunity, and what, do your karma yoga, the mind is going to turn right around and look at you. It's going to start inquiring and investigating you. And you can set your, that's how karma yoga is related to setting yourself free. So karma yoga is the first stage here. The next stage is, we got another couple more stages, but if you don't do your karma yoga, you're never going to get free here. No matter how much you think you are. Because your vasanas will just what?
Keep you in the cycle.
Yeah, just keep you in the samsara chakra. People don't quite understand that this is not spiritual, it's just practical. Huh? Huh? It's just purely practical. It's like, I'm living here, I want to be happy. We're telling you what happiness is and how to get it. That's all. Leave all this fancy teachings and stuff out of it. This is, I mean, I seem to have simplified it enough so like tens of thousands of people are getting onto this now. I'm kind of shocked or surprised myself, although my guru predicted it about 45 years ago. He told me this will happen at the beginning of the next century. That's what he said. Because you people are ready for it. People here in the West have done enough work, and they just never had the proper teaching. They've probably been properly frustrated by all these other teachings and prepared. Those teachings are good because they prepare you. Huh? They make you think and they sharpen you up and they make you discriminate. So it's good. We're not putting down any teachings, actually. We're saying they get you up to this point, and then what? Then you can actually sit and listen to this. And you'll see it just makes perfect sense. On the basis of your own experience. See, nobody's fighting with me here. Who disagrees? See, you don't, because it's just common sense. So, gunas and samskaras. What's a samskara? A samskara is a collection or pattern of vasanas that congeal into a pattern of behavior, like manic depression. What would manic depression be? What gunas are operating there? Rajas and tamas. Intense rajas and intense tamas with maybe, maybe a couple minutes of sattva a day, if that much. Rajas and tamas. All these syndromes, or if you're a mother, let's say you think you're a mother. Mother is a samskara. It's a pattern of behavior. If you do that, you're a mother. Whatever mothers do. I don't know whether, I'm not a mother, so I don't know. Well, I am actually. I've got a big mother inside, so I do know what it means. Or a father. Father is a pattern. Or a lawyer. That's a pattern. Your whole group of actions and thoughts that all go together that make your personality what it is. Your swadharma. That's your swadharma. This is your big dharma. This is a swadharma. That means yourself, your true self, or your real self. And then your swadharma is what? Your samskara, your predominant samskara that produces all these patterns of behavior which you just continue to replicate over and over and over again. And there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. Unless it's a demonic samskara. We're going to get to that. There are obviously some negative patterns that you don't want to reinforce. Unless you're perverted and enjoy them, then you go right ahead. But you're not going to be all that happy because the world doesn't really enjoy perverts. So, anyway. And what do these gunas do? They change predictably. Predictably means what? It means you can't count on anything that's in your mind to stay there very long. Well, you know that, don't you? You'd love that thought. Huh? Say you have a nice orgasm. You want that to last, don't you? You'd like to expand that out for a day or two. That would be nice. Right? Huh? Wouldn't you? That nice feeling? How long does that last? Yeah, the fact that it doesn't last, the fact that you want to do the same thing 10 minutes later, it means that it didn't last. Right? It's temporary. So what? All of this stuff, what does it do? It changes predictably. It's always changing. So if I'm like tying my what? My security, if I'm tying my security to what's happening, how secure am I going to be? That's what I want, isn't it? Freedom means security. I'm totally secure. If my identity is placed here, I'm totally secure. Why? Because I'm always present, I don't change, and my nature is love. So, where's the worry? Right down here, that's all it is worry. Why? Because everything that I value is about to change. And I'm caught in this desperate cycle of getting stuff and then trying to keep it. Now you'd think when you got something, that would be it. You just tuck it away and you'd enjoy it for good. No, as soon as you get something, you got to keep it, don't you? Because everything here is going south all the time. Isn't it? That's why this is my contention, that the insurance companies are the most enlightened and non-dual people in institutions in this society. What? Ramji, are you nuts? No, I'm not nuts. Well, I'm a little nuts. No. Why? Because they're betting things go right most of the time. You're betting that things could go wrong anytime, right? But they know basically Ishwar's got it under control and everything's cool. And what? And you pony up all your money to keep those fat cats sitting there because you're worried everything's going to go wrong every 5 minutes. Who's the smart guys here? They are. Yeah, that's right.
Not
Good
loving,
for
but
you.
smart.
What?
Not loving, but smart.
What?
Not loving, I
Yeah, not well. That's all right. But really love themselves. So, but anyway. And what do they change predictably? So that's one reason why you shouldn't be interested in working out your fears and desires and getting what you want, because it's just going to change. Okay, now I got what I want. Say you're so lonely and you get your trophy wife or your trophy hubby. And you get your beauty, now what do you have to have? What's the next thing? Why isn't the trophy wife and the trophy hubby enough? That should do you, shouldn't it? Oh no, I gotta have 2 genius kids. Oh, but I can't have the genius kids unless I have the house, can't I? I have kids, then you know how it goes. There's never enough. That's the point here. And that's what it means when they say the gunas bind. Got you by the, you know what?
By the goodness.
By the gunas. There you go. We're all on the same page here now? Okay. And how do they bind? Next topic. How do they bind? Let's see, they bind one by what? By attachment to the results. Okay? They got that figured out, right? They bind by attachment to relative knowledge. You're in the spiritual world, why do you keep jumping around and going from one guru to another, from one book to another, from one teaching to another? Why do you do that? Why isn't, everybody says, oh, I got the teaching, I got the ultimate teaching, the final teaching. Papaji had the final teaching. Okay, he got the final teaching. But all the Papaji people are running around looking for something else now. Why is that? Because the final teaching was just relative knowledge. Oh, Tantra says this. Oh, Vedanta says that. Kashmiri Shaivism says this. Muktananda said that. and so did this and that, and I've got to find out, I've got to make sure, I've just got to keep going through all these spiritual things and gaining more and more and more and more knowledge. And what happens? You just get a huge vasana for knowledge, which means what? You just keep reinforcing your ignorance. When you know who you are, you stop seeking knowledge. Relative knowledge, there's two kinds of knowledge. Relative knowledge, that's knowledge of anything here. And what? And absolute knowledge, that's what? Self-knowledge. Vedanta is Veda-anta. It means what? The knowledge that's has two meanings. An exoteric meaning and an esoteric meaning. The exoteric meaning is the knowledge that appears at the end of each Veda. So there are 4 Vedas, and so at the end of each Veda, there are 4 sections on knowledge. It's called Jnana Kanda. The first part of each Veda is called the Karma Kanda, the section on karma. That's on the gunas. 3 gunas, that's karma. So the first section of the Vedas is about this, and the second section of the Vedas is about that, about the self. That's called self-knowledge. You have 2 things, the objects and the subject. So you have 2 kinds of knowledge. Relative knowledge. This is relative, why? Because it's always changing, and any kind of knowledge here is dependent upon anything, any other kind of knowledge here. And it's dependent upon ignorance. So you never get out of the knowledge loop as long as you're seeking here. Vedanta, now the esoteric meaning is the knowledge that ends the quest for knowledge. What it says in the Upanishad, what is it knowing which everything else is known? Actually, it should be as if known. Kena. What is it knowing which everything else is known? Well, that's the crow poop and the goat. When I know that it's all me, consciousness, then what? I know everything I need to know about every object, don't I? So I don't need to worry about getting all kinds of different types of knowledge. I don't need to get tree knowledge and dog knowledge and cat knowledge and law knowledge and spiritual knowledge and this knowledge and that knowledge and everything. Why not? Because the essence of every one of those knowledge is what? Consciousness, me. So when I've discovered who I am, I stop seeking. I'm not interested in knowledge anymore. So, and I may have a specific problem that I want to solve in the transactional reality, so I may pick up a little bit of relative knowledge, but I'll know that my knowledge about who I am is off the table now. I'm clear about who I am. I may need a little bit of relative knowledge for this and that and the other thing. Like I had to learn how to operate this camera and do my Photoshop and write books and all that sort of thing. I didn't know how to do this, but I thought, okay, I'll figure it out. But it had nothing to do with self-knowledge at all. It was just relative knowledge that had a particular kind of usage here in the Vyavaharika. Vyavaharika means in this transactional reality. Transactional situation. Transactional means what? The transaction that takes place between the subject and the object. As long as you're here, you're transacting. It's called Vyavaharika. So that's all relative knowledge. And self-knowledge, what? Removes the need for that. This is why spiritual knowledge won't solve the problem. This is the world of spiritual knowledge. It's here. Material knowledge and spiritual knowledge is here. It's relative. Self-knowledge, what? Is absolute. That means what? This knowledge is good in every place, in every time, in every circumstance. This knowledge is always good. Relative knowledge is sometimes good and sometimes not good. Sometimes it's very useful and sometimes it's totally useless. Sometimes it will cause a lot of problems for you. But this knowledge is always good. Why? Because it sets you free. It's total security, it's total happiness, it's complete freedom. Now, is there anything else you want beside that? No. The answer is no. That's all I want. So when I get that, then all my seeking stops. And when you come to Vedanta, your seeking stops. Understand? When you come here, you're no longer a seeker. Some people think, oh, no, you see, I'm doing self-inquiry. Oh, what's that? Well, I just close my eyes like this, and then I go, who am I? Who am I? And then I'm waiting for the answer. Okay. This is one teacher like that. One teacher like that, actually, that was his teaching. He said, close your eyes and sit quietly and ask, who am I? Well, dummy, the one who's asking the question is who you are. This is so. And even if God showed up like 50 feet high or 200 feet high, great big, huge God just shows up and says, you are pure, limitless, non-dual, actionless, ordinary, unconcerned, unborn awareness. What would you do with that? What would you do with that? You have a clue to don't you do that. You have no idea. Huh? The jury's not out on this topic. When you come here, the jury's not out. You don't ask that question, who am I? You know who you are. The only problem is what I'm not, like this guy said, that beautiful email I just read to you. Huh? My life is not reflecting who I am. I want my body and my mind and my feelings and my family and my friends. I want all of those things to shine like I shine. I shine and everything shines after me. People say, oh, I'm the self, and then what? They're drinking beer and hanging out and whining and chasing sex and worried about this and worried about that and fighting with their family and their bosses. They can't get along with their bosses and all this sort of thing. And they say, I'm enlightened. Well, okay, that may be your definition of enlightenment. That's not our definition of enlightenment. Got to walk the talk. And how do you do that? Well, you manage your gunas. So, anyway, Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guradmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavadhyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham Om Shri Krishna Govinda Narayana